But yeah, just to give a little intro, so we're here with Nicole Blakk, incredibly excited to have the conversation, and ultimately thank you for being here firstly.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Cool, so I'm going to split the interview up into kind of 3 or 4 main sections, but to kind of make sense and have a timeline of the interview, I thought it would make sense to start at the very beginning. So, I mean, just to delve into it, I was really interested to understand when you started music.
So I started writing when I was 12 years old. I was
Okay.
writing poetry and stuff like that. And then as I started to grow a bit older, so about year 9, year 10, I started being interested in music a bit more. But before that, I was more sporty. I was on the netball team, football team. Sport was my thing. Like, music was not even... It was just... I just write for fun, but it was never, like, in my mind. And then year 9, year 10, I started entering some talent competitions, like school ones, school musical. I picked drama as a GCSE, so I was more on stage and stuff like that. I was also part of a West End show called West End Kids, like a West End group company. And after that, I was like, you know what, music is something I want to try out. So I started trying out music and I just loved it. Like, I loved writing, and singing was... I didn't think I was that good, but I was just like, I know, I love writing. So, yeah, I just started carrying on from there, and then, you know...
Yeah, I mean, you say you didn't think you were that good. What gave you the indication that actually you were good?
So, basically, my family loved going to church and stuff like that. So there was this one time, it was like the end of the year, and everyone, the pastor was like, okay, if you have something that's happened to you like in the year, come up and talk to the church about it. And then some people were giving songs, some people like, I'm so grateful for this year because etc, etc. And I was just like to my mum, you know what, I'm gonna go sing a song. And she was like, don't do that, because obviously they knew I loved sports, and my family were like, no, like, sit down, don't stand up. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go. They're like, no, don't go. And I just went. I stood up, and it was too late. And I was like, I'm gonna sing Amazing Grace. And my mum was literally sitting there like, oh my God, don't do this. Like, my mum was like, she's gonna embarrass me, like looking like with her head like in shame. My whole family was sitting there like, oh my God. And then I sang Amazing Grace, and everyone was like, you're really good. I just done it because I was just like, why not? I was really bored. Like, the church was a really long, like 6 hours. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go because that's gonna be entertaining. And everyone was like, you're really good, all of this. I was just like, oh really? Like, the reaction that I got, I was just like, I didn't think I was that good. Like, so from there I just started practicing a bit more, and then I started entering competitions such as Teen Star, and from there I just carried on.
Yeah, it's interesting. It kind of leads on to my next point, which was going to be the X Factor, and obviously, so that was 2019, am I correct? So how old were you when you were talking about the church situation?
It was like, I was like 13 or 14, something like that. So not too old, not too young. Yeah.
No, still youthful though. No, that's interesting. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, just to touch upon the X Factor, obviously that's been a huge part of your journey, and I wanted to just kind of ask a all-encompassing question to start off with, and just kind of understand how your experience was on the show overall.
So that's kind of a difficult answer, because it was good, but it also was bad. So I had my good times, which was the people that I met, vocal training, which I've never had before. I had like a lot of training, but the thing is, I got a taste of what it's like to be on a reality show, and it's not reality. I would class myself at that time as an R&B singer. I wanted to sing R&B. The song I wanted to sing specifically was This Is a Man's World by James Brown. And they were just like, you know, you're the youngest on the show, because I was the youngest on the show. They're like, you've got colourful hair, you shouldn't be singing songs like that, we want you to sing a fun song. And I was like, but that's not really going to show off my voice. But there's sometimes you can't, like, I didn't know that was how TV was. Like, sometimes you've just got to do what they tell you to do. And I did ask, and they were just like, you know what, no, like, that's not you. And they were like convincing me that this is not, like, R&B is not what I'm supposed to do. They're looking for a pop group. Like, you need to be doing pop. You've got fun hair, fun clothes. You're the youngest. You need to show that you're the youngest and sing something fun. And I kept saying, like, that's not going to show my voice. That's not going to show who I am. And I was exactly right. Like, it didn't show my voice. It just showed one side of me, and I was really frustrated throughout the whole show because all I wanted to do was sing This Is a Man's World. That's all I wanted to do. But obviously, when it comes to things like that, you just got to do what they tell you to do. And I already signed stuff at that point, so I couldn't just say, oh, I'm not doing it anymore.
Oh, really?
Like, I already done the audition stage. Like, it was just, I had to just carry on. And it was just a learning lesson for me. Like, now I know what it's like. And obviously I've got my younger cousin who wants to be involved in music as well. And I can advise her and tell her, you know what, don't go down this route, go down this one. Sometimes we've all got to do things. Sometimes we make, like, that was not really a mistake, but it was a learning lesson for me.
That and you kind of touched upon it, and I was just wondering, you say that, like, you went along with ultimately what they advised, but how much of that compliance do you put down to your age at the time? Let's say actually you entered X Factor now and they were trying to steer you down this road. Do you think that at the stage that you're at now you would say, actually, no, I'm gonna do this? So
no, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. I've been contacted by The Voice, for example, after I came off of X Factor, just a couple of weeks ago, actually, so not just after I came off, but they contacted me saying, oh, the same way X Factor contacted me, they contacted me, and instantly I just said, thank you for the offer, because it's a really good opportunity, don't get me wrong. Like, people that are interested in that sort of music and like to do what they're looking for, go for it. I wouldn't say don't do it. It's just my personal experience. So I'm not in no way bashing the show or anything. I'm just saying, for me, it was not a good opportunity, and I didn't enjoy the whole thing, and I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. But I'm saying that, you know, it's quite difficult to answer. Like, sure. I still, like, my age put a lot of pressure on the whole thing, because I was constantly being reminded that I was the youngest on the show, and constantly being reminded that there are people better than you. Like, they would say things like that just to get sort of a reaction out of you. And you know, obviously I was 16, I was like, okay, yeah, they are better than me. Like, they are, like, you know, getting a bit, I was like, this is not my strong genre. Like, they're a lot better than me. And it hurts a lot, like, hearing that from other people, especially when you're working so hard, because I did work so hard. Like, on my Instagram, I literally stay up working so hard. And to hear that from professionals, like, people from this big industry, like, everyone, as a young person, all you want to do is be heard, and being on TV is something that I've always wanted to do. And then when I got there, I was kind of like, this is not what I imagined it to be. Yeah, it's ridiculous to hear stuff like that at such a young age as well, because when you're so young, obviously those sorts of things get fed to you and they become your subconscious thoughts, and then actually you might believe those things moving forward, which is crazy to feed you with that. If anything, you need to be told you're the best, you believe that, whether that's right or wrong. In this instance, it would have been right, and then moving forward you have that belief, and that comes out in your performances. So that sounds crazy, but I appreciate you being so honest, and I understand that it's obviously kind of a touchy subject. So but yeah, I thought it was important to touch upon it, as it is obviously such a big part of your journey. Yeah. So, I mean, just last point on that, obviously you entered, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you entered X Factor as Blessing Nicole, and you now stand before me, or sit before me, as Nicole Blakk. What does that change represent? So, Blessing is the person that was not really confident in herself. Like, she loves music, she loves writing, she loves performing, but like on the X Factor, everything I was told I would believe, because I was like, these people know better than me, I need to listen. That's why I was doing everything they were telling me to do. I was like, they know what's best for me, they know this, they know that. But I feel like if I went as Nicole Blakk, who is who I am now, I would be like, you know what, you may be right, but I feel like I know what I need to do, and I feel like I know exactly what I should be doing. So I feel like Nicole Blakk is more confident and is more, obviously I'm the same person, but it's like it's just my
alter ego.
Yeah,
almost.
an alter ego, kind of, because it's like when I'm Nicole Blakk, when I present myself as Nicole Blakk, I instantly feel a lot more confident, and but if I say, oh, my name's my name is Blessing Nicole, it's a double-barreled name, but Nicole is more confident, and that's why I became Nicole Blakk after I came off the show, because it was like that show gave me an experience.
Sure.
I took a break because of trolls from the show and all of that. Like, I've got a lot of hate and stuff on Twitter, and I took a break for a little bit. But then when I came back 10 times stronger. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was like, you know what? I tried this. It didn't work out, but I need to show that I believe that I can be one of the best. And that's who I am now. And I just feel like people can see the difference. Like, when you look at me on X Factor and look at me now, it's two completely different people. I'm a lot more confident, and I feel like I know exactly what I want, and I won't stop until I get to where I want to be.
That's amazing to hear. Yeah, thank you again for being so upfront. And I mean, just to touch upon the point you mentioned, trolls. Obviously, it's a massive talking point at the moment. Like within football, within every industry, is social media trolls. So I wondered if you could explain a little bit more about that. What exactly did you mean by trolls?
So basically, when I was on the show, not a lot of people liked the show. That's one thing. Second thing was, obviously, I was the youngest on the show. Colourful hair, that was another thing. My audition was put on Gogglebox, and there was people saying stuff like, literally, her hair reminds me of something out of Trolls. Like, you see the Trolls, like the gnome things.
Yeah.
Like, you got to laugh about it now, but obviously at the time I was just like, okay. But like, it did hurt a bit, because I was just like, this is what makes me comfortable. This is what makes me me. And it's like, that's what people are dragging. Another thing was people saying that I can't sing, or like I'm not really good at singing. Like, I'd literally every night type in my name on Twitter and just see comments and comments and comments and comments, and then like I would just look at it and like, why are people being so horrible? Like, someone even said like, she's only 16 years old, but that's another thing. I don't want people to judge me on
the age, right?
The artist, not my age. But another thing is just like, I don't know, like why it just did hurt quite a lot, because they'd say stuff as well about like my attitude, that I'm too confident. But I personally feel like I was just frustrated on the show, because if they knew what was happening behind the scenes, they'd understand why when I'm on camera I'd act a certain way, because I've just been told something and I don't really want to be on camera. I'm just like, I don't want to be on camera right now. I want to take a break. Like, even just before getting onto the arenas, they put me last, because I said I don't want to go right, I don't want to be the first person. Can I at least be the second? Because they said you're going to be the first person, like saying stuff like that, and I was like, can I at least be the second? Because I was like first for the auditions, first for everything we were doing, because there was a lot more stages and a lot more things, and I was always first. So I was like, is it alright if I go second? Like, just, you know, and I wasn't ready to go first as well. So they were like, yeah, that's fine, and they put me right second to last. And then right before I went on, they were just like, you know, you're second to last. The seats look a bit full. You could have done all of this for no reason. Like, you might not even go through. And obviously, like, I was already nervous. I was already not confident about the song that I'm doing. So obviously, I was just like, I was literally breaking down, and then they put the camera on me. So it's just like, I'd look a certain way, and then I'd go on stage, you know, I'd act different on stage, but then they wouldn't see what's happening behind the scenes. I was being judged for the way I was acting on camera, but no one knew what was going on. So that's, most of the comments were like, she's acting arrogant, she's acting this, she's acting that. But it was not that. It was just the fact that there was so much going on behind the scenes that I had to literally fake my happiness on the camera. And I was trying to express that this is not me. I was trying to say, like, can I do something else? Can I do something else? And I felt like I wasn't being listened to as well, because of my age. So I feel like, yeah.
So ultimately, what you were being judged for, what you're saying, is it stemmed from them mistreating you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's literally what it was. It was just that, like, not everyone was, I wouldn't say they were horrible, but it was just, they would say things to me that would make me react a certain way. And they were doing it purposely, because every time they said something to me, the camera's then in my face. So that's what the comments were, like the trolling was just stuff like that. But it's something I got over, and it's definitely something that's made me stronger. And I'm not happy it happened, but I'm glad it happened, if that makes sense.
Fuels ultimately the success that you're going to achieve moving forward.
Exactly, that's what,
No, thank you. I mean, you touched upon a few times that ultimately people never got to see what was going on behind the scenes, but hopefully a few people see this and it kind of resonates with them. So yeah, it was good to touch upon, and I guess to kind of move forward now on a more positive note and to talk about kind of your current releases, but also what you've got going on moving forward. So obviously Mama, if I say it correctly, is your current release, month old, I think, 11,000 views. How are you feeling about it?
So Mama was actually, I know we've just come off the topic, but it's literally because of, I've written that song because of X Factor. Yeah. So obviously they made me do a pop song, and I wasn't confident in pop. So as soon as I came off the show, I wrote that 2 months after coming off the show, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a pop song, and I'm going to make it my own, and I'm going to, I'm going to own it. I'm going to make it good. So I wrote Mama, got a pop beat. I sat down with my auntie in her home studio, and I was just like, you know what, I want to write a pop song. Pop's not my genre, but I feel like I wasn't that good on the show with pop, so I want to make my own pop. And when I wrote that song, I was just like, this is me. This is Nicole Blakk. And even in the video, like, I was so confident. I felt like I'm owning what I couldn't do before, basically. But I'm really happy about that. Like, I didn't think it would hit like 11 on my own channel as well. Yeah. Like, I was really, really proud of that and really happy with that. I worked with YCT Productions on that, which is really, 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 really good company. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. Yeah,
it's amazing. I've watched the video many times, obviously, in preparation for today, and it's interesting. I'll come on to kind of the concept of it shortly. But I mean, quick question just based off your most recent answer. You mentioned you wrote it 2 months after X Factor, correct? Yeah. And you were on X Factor in 2019 and it's 2021. Why was it not released earlier?
So I was working on an EP, so I wanted to... I wrote that song really early on, at the start of 2020. But I was working on an EP which is now out. It's called The Blackout, and I was writing a collection of songs, and it's 5 songs on there, but not all different genres, but they're different genres. So I've got a pop song, R&B. I've got a song without any music on it, like just my voice. So I was working on a lot of things, and I wanted to have a collection of people to know who Nicole Blakk is. Like, it's called The Blackout because it's just Blackout with 2 Ks, Nicole Blakk. So I was like, okay, this is Nicole Blakk. I want people to know what I can do. I'm not just an R&B singer. I don't just do this genre. I don't just do this, and I'm not the person you saw on X Factor. So I wanted people to look at that and think, yeah, this is different. So yeah, Mama was on there, and I was waiting to release it. I released the song first, and I released the music video after. Makes sense.
Yeah. And with regards to the music video, there's 2 different variations. What's the thought process behind that?
So the real reason there's 2 music videos because there was a lot of footage. So, we had a lot of footage, and I felt like it was too good to just be in one video. Like, it felt like it was rushed, and the song's only 2 minutes 30, so it was like all of those scenes in a 2-minute video is a bit not,
Makes sense, yeah.
So we made 2 separate videos, so it shows exactly the storyline of what's going on. One had better shots, the other had... I think they all had really good shots, really strong shots, but it's like one of them explained the story and the other one was just shots, if that makes sense. Yeah. So in order to make the storyline understandable, it needed to be 2 separate videos. So like what happened first, what happened after, and the ending. So that's what it's like, a story.
Which is your favourite?
I think I really like the second one, but then I love the scene where I'm getting my hair and makeup done, like the first bit. It reminds me of Ariana Grande so much. Like, I love that. That's probably my favourite scene, but the second video, I think, is my favourite one.
That's good to know, thank you. Just to stay on the topic of the song very briefly, I think one of the first lines that you say is, I'm still a teen, but I've got big dreams. So I wanted to touch upon that, and what are your wildest dreams?
So my dream is just to be successful in what I do. So in perform, I want to be... I say performer because I feel like I love to perform. Singing is one thing, performing is another. When someone's singing, they can be the best singer, but not a good performer. I want to have it all, and I want to be one of the best performers. I want to be known everywhere. So that's what I mean when I say I've got big dreams. And I said I'm still a teen, because obviously I wrote that after the show, so people look at my age quite a lot. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm still a teen, but I've still got really big dreams, and I'm still gonna keep on dreaming. I'm not gonna give up until, you know, I get that.
My favourite bit of your work is actually a leak, which is Through the Rain. So that is my favourite bit of your work. I think it's actually filmed here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I just wondered, because ultimately that's a leak, you could call it, and it was released, I think, the 7th of January. So what's the plans with that song?
So Through the Rain was actually just recorded. It was just that short bit that was recorded in the studio. It was Mental Health Awareness Week when I wrote it, and I was just like, you know what, I want to put something on my Instagram for people going through anything, and I want them to listen to it and feel like, wow, like I'm not the only one, because I'm not the only one going through this. Like, you know, I wanted to write for people that are going through that. So I just put that little short thing on Instagram. I had nothing else written for it. Like, it was just that 1 minute. But then a lot of people were like, you know what, I really like this really helped me. Like, I got a lot of DMs about it, a lot of messages. And I was just like, you know what, I sat at home that day, I just finished the song, and it literally just came to me. Like, a lot of the music that I write, that I put on my Instagram, I write in about 15 minutes. Like, because it just comes to me. Like, when you're in that mood, it just comes to you. Like, you put a beat on and you just write and you just write and you just write. So the whole song, it just came to me, and I had the chorus already, so the verses were just coming to me, and I was just like, you know what, I really like this. I recorded it at the studio, the full song, and that's actually coming out soon. I've already filmed the music video to it, and I'm really excited for that. So that's going to be out later this year. I've got a few more releases before, but that's definitely going to be out this year.
Good. Buzzing. I'm happy. Yeah, in preparation, obviously, there's a lot of material out there, but that was the one thing that, like, it's always, I must have gone back, and I'm probably accountable for, like, 1,000 of those, however many thousand views. So, yeah, it was good to understand, so I appreciate that. I mean, on a slightly different note, and obviously it kind of stems from the point about what drives you, and judging from the snippets that I've seen of X Factor and ultimately the conversations that I've had behind the scenes, it's clear that you're hugely family orientated. So I wondered how hard it is putting music out there that obviously is so deep, and so you say breathing but not feeling alive, smiling, trying hard not to cry, sometimes we don't feel okay, just keep walking through the rain. So how hard is it to let something out which is obviously so deep, and essentially it's in a positive light because you're helping other people, but it still does have that dark, deeper meaning?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I feel like because music is my way of letting things out, because I'm not the type of, like, I love being around my family and stuff, but I don't really like to talk about things that, if I'm going through anything, like, I would probably just tell my sister, but I wouldn't sit there and say, okay, this is what I'm going through today, and this is how I feel today. I literally just write about everything. So everything I write, like, I don't write anything that's fake or anything that I've never felt before. Like, everyone's felt like that once in their life before. Like, that's not how I feel every day. I don't feel like that. Sure. But obviously there's been a time where I felt like that, and so I will always write things from experience and write things from how I felt. And I feel like my family, they just support everything I do. Like, I don't think they would take it in a way of, oh, she's feeling like that right now. But it's more of a thing where they're just like, oh, it sounds really good. Like, it's not really, I don't know, I've not got any questions from them about it or anything, but I feel like they just listen to it and just think, oh, yeah, that's good. Most of them don't really speak English, like, as in my nan, who listens to my music a lot, doesn't understand it, so she just listens to the voice. But yeah, no, I feel like
how do you communicate with your nan then? Sorry.
We speak in French.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I speak French to my nan, which is why I got, like, a couple lines in French in some of my songs. But yeah, no, they don't really ask much about it, but it's more, they just want to support everything I do, which I love. Like, I get so much support from my family with everything I do. As long as I put education first, they're 100% there with everything.
You say as long as you put education first, and I hadn't planned on touching upon this, but at what point do you think it becomes viable to not put education first and to put everything into the music?
So technically I've got 2 years left of education, because I'm going to go to uni. But yeah.
What will you study?
Digital marketing. Okay. So it's just like social media, more like focusing on like the social media stuff of things, and I feel like it will help me as an artist because it will teach me how to market myself in different aspects of like literally everything. So I'm really looking forward to that, but it's only a 2-year course. So I've got 2 years and then I'm done, and then I'm just going to put everything into my music, everything into performing. And yeah, my parents just want me to at least have like a good education, a degree there. Gonna get that, then put it to the side and just go for my music like head first, everything. I already basically do that, but I still have to focus on, because I'm in college.
Yeah, you almost
still.
do it at unsociable hours, if I'm right in thinking, because it was actually going to be one of the points that I moved on to, was ultimately, you touched upon earlier, your work rate and how hard you do work, and ultimately I think that is kind of, it falls in alignment with how the industry's changing and things like lives and stuff like that, which I wanted to touch upon. So yeah, I wanted to ask about lives specifically, and could you sum up how hard you work to get into them, but also how disheartening is it when you've been in a live for say an hour spamming your ad and you don't get in there?
So lives is something that's so frustrating, because people, like, I would be in a live, say I'm in a live, I could be in a live for like 2 hours and not get in, and there's someone that's just come on for like 5 minutes and got instantly on. So obviously there's a part of you that feels disheartened, but I believe that everything happens for a reason. There's a reason I didn't get in that live, and there's a reason I do get in certain lives. And a lot of the, like, my followers, for example, most of them are all from lives. Like, I stay up probably till during lockdown. I was staying up for about 6-7 in the morning, just singing and singing and singing. My mum would literally come in, shout at me. Everyone's just like, bless Nicole, just stop, like, you're making so much noise. Like, obviously they like when I sing, but like I sing for like 6 hours straight, and they're just like, oh my God. And I use the speaker as well for my instrumental, and it's like 3 a.m, everyone's trying to sleep. I've got college the next day. Like, I'm just like, you know what? No, I need to get on this live. I'm not going to stop. American lives. Like, so staying up for that long, like, I think at one point I literally had bags under my eyes, and I was like, okay, I need to give myself a break, because I would stay up constantly 7 days a week just on live. I wouldn't go and eat sometimes, because I'm like, I need to get in this live. Like, it took over me at some point. Like, I was just feeling like, if I don't get on a live, then, you know, I'm just not good enough. Like, not enough people are tagging me, and, you know, all of these things. Like, it definitely took over me for a little bit, during lockdown especially, because I wasn't doing anything else. It was lockdown. I was just at home. Lives was all I was doing, and I just felt like, I need to get in this live, and I need to get this amount of followers, and I need to get this amount of followers. And I feel like that's what social media does, and it did brainwash me. But I started to realise that, you know, let me appreciate the followers I already have. And that's when I started being more active. I started posting more, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try getting this live. If I don't get in, I'm just going to post, just going to go live on my own account. And then I started going live on my own account, because I was never going live on my own account. But yeah, like, going on lives is a really big thing. Like, especially with my Instagram, it's the biggest thing. If I didn't go on live, like, I'm on 12,000 followers at the moment, and before lockdown I was on 3,000. So it definitely helped me a lot, and I got recognised by a lot of people. I've been live with my favourite artists. Like,
I was going to ask you, what are kind of the highlight lives that stick out to you?
So I'd say Heady One's live. I told him, I went on live.
You love him, don't you?
Yeah, literally, he's literally my favourite rapper. But because I met him beforehand, like, I think a couple times before, he went on live, and he never goes on live. So I commented something, and he was like, oh, my G, and I was just like, yes, that's me. And then everyone was just like, okay, add her. So he added me, and then he was like, can you sing for the live? I sang for the live, and I said, you should do a talent show. There's a lot of talented people. And I started like a chain of, he was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to do a talent show. And then he started adding talents. That was my favourite, like, live, because I started that one off. Yeah. And a lot of people were really grateful, because a lot of people wanted him to hear them perform. My second one probably be Artan. Artan is literally, like, I'm very influenced by the music he makes. Like, if you listen to my music and you listen to his music, you'd understand. I listen to him a lot. Like, I love the way he dresses. Everything about him, like, even the sunglasses, like, everything about him is just, I really, really, really love. So,
what's your favourite Artan song?
probably Mary. Mary, probably. It's quite an old one, but Mary and I'm here in isolation, wish I start with you. That one.
Yeah.
That one's so good. But yeah, Artan definitely. And another one I'd say probably, there's a lot of lives I've been on, I don't even remember most of them. And that live that I went on with Ramina Dime, that's where I promoted the Abdi song.
Yeah.
So that's where like the Abdi song started. I wasn't planning on releasing that at all. And then I went on that live and it was the Somali community. And yeah, I just sang the song to her because it was a Somali song. And she was just like, oh, it was really good. Someone screen recorded it, put it on TikTok without crediting me. I saw it on a lot of meme pages, no credit at all, none of them. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to release this song. And that's why I done the preview. And yeah.
That kind of leads into my next point, and it's frustrating that there's no credit, and that's kind of a story for another day because that's ridiculous. But yeah, so you talk about Abdi, obviously, and I wanted to touch upon kind of at the latter stages of the interview, what is next from you, and what can people kind of expect over the next 12 months? So
over the next 12 months, expect a lot of music videos. I'm definitely going to be... I'm not going to be dependent on... Because before I was depending on, like, other platforms to promote my music. Like, I'm trying to get on Rising Talents, which actually was one of the pages that... The reason I started posting on Instagram, with the help of Marcus Darrell, he was, like, encouraging me to post on Instagram. But, yeah, I'll be dependent on pages like that or other YouTube pages. But I feel like I'm confident in knowing if people want to listen to me, then they'll listen to me, no matter what platform it's on. And I get a lot of support from people, especially now on Instagram, and I'm so grateful for all the support I get. So what you'd expect is just a lot of music videos, a lot of music, a lot more Instagram posts, a lot more Instagram previews. Now that we're coming kind of out of lockdown, performances again, going to be performing again.
Incredible interviews.
Yeah, incredible interviews, and yeah, a lot of things like that.
Nice, good stuff. Well, that kind of wraps everything up that I wanted to touch upon. I mean, just quickly, and we don't have to include this, but how have you found the interview?
Really, really good. Like, I feel comfortable with it, and it didn't really feel forced or anything. It was just like a conversation, so...
Good. And is there anything else that you wanted to say, whether that's to plug your socials, or you can say subscribe because that would be helpful?
Okay, so subscribe to Discovery Rap. My Instagram is none like B on everything, all socials. My music comes under Nicole Blakk. You can find me anywhere if you want to look at my X Factor stuff and see the growth. That's Blessing Nicole on X Factor, or you can scroll down on my Instagram, it should still be there. And yeah, that's it really. But yeah, Abdi coming next.
Let's get it. Good stuff. Thank you.